And in 3, 2, 1, we're live with 3 guests in the room, which is very unordinary. You had a little posse come with you, man. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Riley Newton.
Nice. And you work kind of with Ariel Rubin, I believe, right?
I used to.
Nice.
So I don't work at Hummingbird anymore, but I did work with her.
Yeah? What do you do now?
Work at a bank.
You like it?
Yeah.
Are you going into like finance as like a living or just like a job while you find out what you want to do with the rest of your life?
You're still figuring it out.
Yeah? I
Yeah.
think we all kind of are here. You just have, I guess you drank most of your tequila. Salute. I'm just going to drink my shot really quick right at the beginning.
I'll finish mine, yeah.
Nice. I started making margaritas for shows, and I realized I don't like margaritas that much.
You know, I think I saw your show because Ariel shared it. I think
I believe so.
How I found it initially.
Has she told people around her that this episode won't air until after she comes on the show, but she's leaving the country
I didn't
for
hear about
Puerto
that.
Rico. And so she's
Nice.
going to come on the show one more time right before she leaves for good.
That's awesome.
And I'll make sure this airs after she tells definitely her boss or whoever she's
Yeah.
working with.
Right.
This comes out, her employer's like,
Yeah.
what's going on with
Cat's
that?
out of the bag.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll make sure and check it with her. So this may be a delayed episode. I try to do them chronological.
That's cool.
But yeah,
I can
and
dig it.
someone's slightly in shot, but for the most part, you'll just be speaking.
Yeah.
Again, this is a very unordinary thing for people
Yeah.
to be doing. But yeah, man, what fills up your day when you're not sitting there counting money at a bank?
Well, I don't count money at the bank, so that's nice. I'm not client facing, but
You spend all day daydreaming of what it'd be like if someone came in and robbed the bank. What you do,
No,
how you
I
be like a
mean-
hero, or
sometimes in between phone calls I might dissociate a little bit into that realm, but no, not really.
you just think, no, I'll be the person to rob the bank.
Yeah, right. But I don't know, we mushroom hunt quite a bit. You can't see this person off.
Yeah, there's
Off the
a
camera,
person
but
off camera, so
we're gonna
we'll
go out
literally
this
never
weekend.
see her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
It's kind of like so again, the one other episode where we've had multiple people,
Mhm.
there was John Free standing right here, who makes the CBD cigarettes, or CBD joints, who most people watch the show see me smoke. Galileo from Hyperchange sitting right there, and Mark Fronmeyer was literally just like standing at the door talking off camera, like the whole time, and it was like the most chaotic show. So this is like
Yeah.
a minor version of it. It's still like boom, boom, person off camera. It's giving me nostalgia vibes. That episode may never come out because someone mentioned Mormonism, and a person on the show said, I cannot be seen in the video talking. So I guess before we go,
no.
like, is there any topics we can't talk about? Now I should
on
start
air.
asking everyone that.
I think I'm pretty good.
You,
on
yeah,
that.
don't bring up spousal abuse. It's like, whoa. Someone legitimately told me that before a show. Like,
Oh, no.
I stopped doing it because I'm like, if someone wants to avoid a topic, they'll just kind of like move away from it, and I'll just like let them. But for the first 100 or so episodes, I'd be like, hey, can you like not talk about drugs or like sex or anything like this? And someone's like, don't talk about like marital abuse. I'm like, interesting guest on the show.
Note
Made
taken.
sure to stay away from it. But yeah, man.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
not at bank, you go mushroom hunting for
Mushroom
fun
hunting.
mushrooms,
For what?
like fun mushrooms, like actual psilocybin
both.
containing mushrooms.
Both, yeah.
Nice. I found one Manita muscaria,
Amanita muscaria.
Amanita muscaria, under like a pine tree.
Those are fun to find.
Yeah, I found
they're
it.
Super pretty.
And then you actually read into it, you're like, will it kill me? Not if I bake it to a certain degrees, or if I
Parboil it.
yeah, or if like you feed it to a deer and then you drink the deer's. Like it's
Yeah.
so many levels that I'm like, I found a friend who like was interested, and I just like gave it to him. I'm like, well, here you go, man. It was like kind of dry at that point.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I don't know if he ever used it, but like, if you found one of those, would you know what to do with it, or would you just like leave it in its sacred place?
I like to look at them, take pictures.
Yeah?
I wouldn't pick it because I don't really use them.
So it's
I
just
wouldn't-
An interesting kind of voyeurism.
It's
you
just like a little treat. It's a
yeah,
little forest treat.
you just go
Yeah.
look at mushrooms. You're like,
Yeah.
you exist, and then you
Yeah,
leave. That's
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Are they in Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I know. Under
Like-
pine trees, right?
I don't remember which trees they grow in
You're a mushroom hunter.
association.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't remember.
Where do you go hunting for them? You just find whatever. You just go for walking in the woods. And you're like,
Yeah.
I might find a mushroom here or there.
Exactly.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Unless you're looking for the active ones, then you know where to look.
Yeah. So do you ever find the active ones?
You can find them in your garden out front.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
It's not the right time of year, but
Oh, okay. I was like,
we
wait,
were,
like
we were
is
talking
this a
about
way-
it before we came up here. You have the right mulch in your garden.
Dope. I thought you were
Yeah.
literally telling me like, hey, you have free mushrooms in your
No,
garden
but
outside.
you might in the end of October.
End of October. I'm gonna have you come
Cool.
back, even if not for an episode, or like if one of
Yeah.
your friends wants to do an episode, come along
Totally.
and help me hunt them, because that'd be so
Yeah.
cool to find.
I'd love
Here's
to
the
know
thing.
that.
At one point in my life, I had a bin, and it was full of this mycelium-ish stuff, and I misted it like twice a day, and
Yeah.
it got really moldy. So I'd imagine if I find it in nature, like, because the little powdery white part of it looks so, like, when it's wet, looks so close to mold. Do you just, like, have confidence it's not going to hurt you? Or, like, do you, like, read a book to, like, down to the Q? Or it's like, here's the one that'll kill you. Here's the one that'll make you trip. And you just, like, you have confidence in yourself.
I'm pretty confident in the ones that grow around town that are actives.
Nice.
There's one lookalike that you want to avoid, but if you know what you're looking for, you'll be okay.
I like it. How'd you get
Yeah.
into that? Like, I've never met someone who's like, oh, yeah, like, I don't have a dealer, and mother guy is my dealer, you
Yeah.
know? That's a pretty beautiful place to be, honestly.
They're kind of elusive, though, so I've only found a couple good patches in the last couple of years.
Nice.
How do you have that kind of confidence?
Yeah, what?
I feel like I would get really stressed and I just wouldn't end up eating it.
So there's multiple identifying factors. Of course, you want it to bruise blue. You can see the wavy cap with the margin, and then you can spore print it. You can see the purple spores.
Cool.
So, I mean, there's only one lookalike.
So, you know, like, with the spore print, you've never tried to, like, propagate it yourself, though?
No, but you can.
That would be fun.
You
I mean,
can.
that's the one thing I try, because it's legal to buy syringes with spores in them.
You can buy spores.
You can buy
Spores
pretty
are
much
not
the
illegal.
whole thing, and then
Really?
it's so hard to make the right mixture and to,
Oh
like,
my
keep it the right,
gosh.
like wetness and darkness, and it just
Mhm.
becomes this moldy thing in your closet, and then you're like, why did I spend money making a growing mold, essentially?
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe it was like an initial phase. I initially have it. Honest to God, I did not expect the show to be about mushrooms, but now I'm fascinated. Not
I
only
love mushrooms, so I could talk about mushrooms.
so you find non-fun mushrooms as well, like you like throw them in your
Yeah.
beef stroganoff and stuff.
Well, I don't eat beef, but stroganoff maybe.
Yeah, mushroom
Yeah.
stroganoff.
Yeah, there you
So,
go.
have you heard about like portobello mushrooms containing like a toxin that unless it gets to like a certain degrees, it's not good for you?
I haven't heard that.
You're not one of those people. It's
No.
funny. Have you? There we go. See, you
Yeah.
can get schooled. It's funny.
Okay.
People always like
she's an expert.
like I'll eat like shiitake and like all those, but like portobello and crimini, which are like a different kind of portobello, is my understanding. Like I just avoid them entirely. Everyone's like, oh, they're healthy, and then you look into it, and I'm like, are they though?
I love them.
You love
I will
them,
continue
and that's
to eat
good
them.
enough. So you're vegan, vegetarian.
I don't really label it, but
I don't really label it. It's like a really ambiguous relationship
Yeah.
with your food. I don't really want
I
to
eat
label
what I feel like when I feel like it. So I mean, 90% of the time it's gonna be mostly
And then 10% of the time, he
Plant.
kills a live cow and just
Just
rips off its
bare
leg.
hands,
Just to
yeah.
make up for it. I
Yeah,
mean, most of the
exactly.
time, I mean,
get back to nature.
yeah, you're being so peaceful most of the
Yeah.
time. You just got to get
Exactly.
that primal rage out.
Right.
I know, Kinsey, I mean, when I met her, she was vegetarian, vegan?
Vegan.
Vegan. And I've since brought her to the nasty, evil, horrible, brutal side of life, which I feel guilty for.
It
every
wasn't
day.
really you. It was just the anemia
Yeah.
was so strong.
Being
It was my own fault.
Speaking of, you look gaunt. Do you want some pork? No, I'm kidding. No, you look great. You look very healthy. But like a lot of people who do like propose and be like, you should become a vegetarian or vegan, tend to not be like the healthiest looking people in the entire universe. And I feel like they're maybe doing a disservice to their cause when they like maybe are just like really, really pale and look like they don't have enough iron, and they're like, you should adopt my lifestyle. Just like with everyone, like whenever people like bring up like politics or a way of like having like being in relationships, everyone's like proposing this lifestyle, and you look at them, you're like, you're not a person I necessarily want to be more like, though, you know? It's like,
Gotcha.
what impact would you want to have on the world if people like saw you most optimally and they're like, I like this guy, I want to be more like him? What would be your like, bing? I would feel good having a positive impact if more people became more like that. Or get a bank.
It's a great question. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Solid.
I don't try to influence others very much.
Yeah, there's a weird thing about a lot of people, and I would say myself included, tries to not, but then at a certain point I realized like most every conversation you're having just with like friend, maybe you just have like the most
Right,
bland
yeah.
conversations ever. Maybe you like
No.
literally stay like you're like, I don't have an opinion on religion or
Yeah.
politics or I mean anything at all, but
Yeah.
like it tends to be like every conversation we have, we're in some ways like I've just come started to realize we're like kind of influencing other people to like either be more like or more away from us.
Mm.
So I'm like, I started to realize, I'm like, fuck, what influence do I want to have if I have one, you know?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Existential crisis in the middle of a
Mm.
show. You just like dissociate for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, right.
You're like, this
I just try to stay even keeled with all my interactions. Just like,
nice. Yeah, I dig it, man.
not too extreme one way or another.
I see. I try to be a centrist by having such extreme views on all the different sides of the
Gotcha.
spectrum. Like, I like being
Okay.
radical socialist and then radical right wing, and just trying to be like, well, technically, if you kind of even them out, I'm in the middle as well. So we have a
Okay.
lot of middle ground there,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
when you were working with Ariel Rubin, what were you doing there, man?
I was working in the warehouse,
Cool.
forklifting.
I dig it.
Yeah.
That's what.
Pulling pallets.
Nice. It's a good job. That's what. So I got a job at Arcimoto because a friend of mine worked as a forklift driver at that has gravel and dirt, and you
Mhm.
bring your lawn debris there.
Lane.
Lane
Yeah,
forest.
boom.
Forest.
So he just
Yeah.
like did it for like a year or two. After getting an engineering degree, he went and after getting an engineering degree, he went and became a forklift operator.
It's just
for, like,
so
a year.
telling of our time.
I know. And then eventually he got an actual mechanical engineering job at Arcimoto. And I like looked
Sweet.
at the company and I just tweeted at the CEO. And
Nice.
now I'm living next door to him, running a podcast with. Right
That's a
behind you is
trip.
a bunch of hentai as a heads up. I'm kidding.
Sweet.
That's
Awesome.
that's the real goal of the
Wouldn't
green
have
screen.
it any other way.
Yeah, you never actually know what's in there. It's just
Yeah.
it's funny. We could almost do this show of like 20-minute segments of each guest if you guys would
Yeah.
all be down for that. Because I mean, I just feel guilty that there's two people here who I'm like, they came and are like a part of this. Would you want to be on air for like 20 minutes?
Heck yeah.
I'm sure she has some.
We
fun
start at like
things to talk about.
7:07. Give us like 7 minutes for me to
Okay.
finish getting him to a full dissociation.
Okay, perfect.
I want him to leave here thinking, how am I influencing people? What am I doing with my life? I invite you back on the show in like a
I
month.
think
you're like,
about it every day, anyways. Like, what am I doing with my life? But
I invite you back on the show. No way, man. That's not happening.
Nothing's changed. But yeah, that's funny.
But so you're at a place where like you're confident enough in like your position in life where you can talk about like psychedelics and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So I'm someone who forever ago I would never be that person anymore or ever do it, but I brewed my own DMT and did it quite a bit and got invited down to LA where someone gave me enough money to buy all this equipment and start a podcast. So psychedelics is in many ways responsible for
When
where
you
I am
say
in life.
brew it, are you like, whether you talking bark or?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mimosa
Okay.
Hostilis root bark.
Yeah.
Fun. So
Yeah.
have you tried DMT too?
Yeah. I have.
It's a rare person who's tried DMT.
Yeah.
Everyone I meet's like, oh, I've tried mushrooms and acid. And they're like, worlds apart. I'm like, those are the same things. Honestly, DMT is also kind of the same thing. They're all just like serotonin at the
They're
end of the
very
day.
similar.
They're
yeah.
very. Thank you
They're-
for someone admitting it. Everyone's
It
like,
is.
no, they have these slightly different trips,
Yeah.
man. You'll never,
Yeah. Right.
Would you promote it to others? Would you be like cautious too? Because I found my place.
I'd be very cautious to promote it to others.
Now I would be. When I initially
I'm-
found it, I was like,
I-
everyone should try it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I don't promote any psychedelics. I just like to, if somebody brings it up, I'd like to talk about the way they've affected me
How has
and how I've benefited from them or not benefited from them, and
Yeah.
just tell them my experience.
I like it.
I don't say, oh, I think you should do this or I
Do it right
shouldn't
now, and
do
then you
it.
like put the vape in their mouth and like suck it, and you like hold it down like a dog when you give like a dog
Yeah.
like a pill. Like
Right.
take it, you're
Yeah.
gonna. So by the way you
Sure.
said root bark, I assume you've tried NN-DMT, not 5-MeO DMT.
Yes.
I want to try 5-MeO DMT someday in a really safe environment. But
Yeah.
how has NN-DMT affected your life?
Well, it was one of the last things that I took as far as like experimentation, because I haven't done them in years, just because I haven't felt the need to really, or the calling
neither.
to. Like,
Wink, wink.
It feels like ages ago, honestly, but I don't know if it really affected me very much positively.
Wow.
I think because I already had gained a lot of, I guess, psycho-emotional benefit from like the things that I'd done past, like psilocybin or LSD.
When you say that, like, do you mean like you don't yell or get like you have a lot of control over your emotions, or what do you mean by you've already gained a lot of that?
Just
You like got it in control and you only like spank the monkey
it
once
was
a week
it's
instead of
actually
like 10
the
hours a
very
day.
last thing I've done as far as psychedelics. So
Yeah.
it almost left a bad taste in my mouth because I didn't come at it with the right setting or mindset.
Yeah, you were just like at a
So-
party, or were you like in complete
No,
darkness or
I
out
was
in nature?
I was by myself.
Nice.
No, I
that's
wasn't.
that's what I would say is a good environment to take it in,
Yeah.
and maybe not for everyone. Obviously, I have friends who like specifically. I'm like, I need to at least have one person around, or they lose their tether to reality, which I'm
Right.
like, that's very valid.
Yeah. I think it was just the mindset that I was in at the time. Just wasn't right.
That's a big important, very important part of it. It's funny.
It was interesting though. I mean, I think I think I benefited in like a couple different ways, but I don't know.
Yeah,
At,
fact
at the
that you're like,
moment, like it's hard to dig into
it had no
but,
positive
yeah,
effects. So it was like 4 years ago. How long would you say?
3 years ago.
3 years ago,
3
and you
years
haven't
ago.
like really
No.
taken any psychedelics since then.
No, just microdosing.
So you had like a horrible last time, and then you're like, I'm just too scared or don't want to take a bigger dose for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but
Yeah.
it wasn't ideal.
Did you dissociate?
Well, it's a dissociative substance.
I believe they're hallucinogens. Like Datura is a dissociative. They're like slightly different subcategories of substances.
Okay.
Or ketamine's a dissociative. PCP is
Right.
a dissociative, which
Yeah.
actually like make you lose tether to your body.
Right.
Hallucinogens can be like it's an umbrella category for a couple. Maybe dissociatives one of the hallucinogens, but psychedelics
Uh-huh.
and hallucinogens are definitely different substances.
Yeah.
But a high dose of NN-DMT can make you dissociate, I should say, and maybe like create like
Yeah.
So like what was
I'd
your
say
last dose
so.
of mushrooms? Was it like 5 grams, like one of those heroic dose kind of things?
Oh, I've taken a quarter ounce.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I've taken a quarter.
Wow, the most I've ever taken.
That was the
like,
best experience I've ever had on psychedelics, actually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was working graveyard too at the time, and I got off. I got off work at 7 in the morning, and then took them because it was my
Took
weekend.
a quarter amount, so,
So I'd already
7.5
been up for
grams
like
of
18
mushrooms.
hours, and then yeah.
You're up for 18 hours, and you say, "I'm going to take the most mushrooms I've ever taken, 7.5 grams." After
Stayed up basically the whole next day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was the best experience I've ever had.
Yeah,
on
what was it
mushrooms.
like? Were you
I
like
just
still
hung
in
out-
your body?
Yeah, in my body. Just hung out with myself alone, and I started in my bedroom and then just like went for a walk around town. I was in
Nice.
Portland at the time.
Cool.
It wasn't. It was. And it
Portland
wasn't.
is not the place.
Yeah,
you
and
wanna
it
go
wasn't
for a walk.
overstimulating too. Which,
Nice.
like thinking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that was the right setting, but it's the best time I've ever
Were you just
had
like
on
listening
it.
to Tame
I
Impala the
just,
whole
like-
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I probably was though. I mean, I was listening to music, but yeah, no, that's the most I've done.
Yeah. That's what I mean, probably 3 times as much as I would ever have the galls to take, man. I mean, seriously, I'm like 2 grams. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's as much.
I don't even take like a gram at a time now. I just like take like
Yeah.
a nibble on a cap or something.
a little tiny little nib.
Yeah.
So that's about 20 minutes. Let's cycle them through. Belle, you're up. Bella.
Bells up.
Belle.
Belle.
Yeah. Or
Like-
you can do Bella. I don't. Either one.
Bella. Do you
That's
you ever
like a
seen
lot
the
of
Disaster
mushrooms.
Artist?
Huh?
Have you ever seen the Disaster Artist with the Franco brothers? Oh, never. Yeah, right. With the room, and he's like Bella right at the beginning.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Huh.
You'll sit right there. You want to keep the mic as close as you can. Are you
Yeah.
down to be on for 20 minutes after her?
Sure.
Dope.
Love
This,
it.
this will be the fun, most
Okay,
unique
this is
show
my
ever.
new favorite. Like,
This is actually.
we're
how
just gonna invite 3 guests on every time, and they're not gonna know. You get 20 minutes. Give us the tea. Give us the downloads. Like, let's get the show going.
Because normally it's just like one guest for 1 hour, but I've never I'm like again. So when like everyone was sitting in this room, like one person was talking off camera. Eventually we got him in, but like everyone kind of had a mic. But I just feel bad. I'm like people are here. I'm like I want to hear. So would you want to take a minute and introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Belle.
Even
and-
closer if you can.
Oh, okay.
Like you can pull it to you
Pull
actually.
it, pull it
Quite
to me.
mobile.
Yeah,
Okay.
like man, like
Nice.
rah. You can be like really crazy.
Just throw it
Just throw it
around.
around. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Belle. I'm originally from Twin Falls, Idaho, and I moved here about 3 years ago. So, yeah.
Dope. What made you move? Just hated everyone in your family.
No.
You're like I'm getting out of here.
So before I moved to Idaho, not to Idaho. Here, I had a really, really good connection with my family, and I was really happy about that. So it was a little bit bittersweet to move to
Absolutely.
Oregon, but I'd lived there my whole life, and it was time for change.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really happy that I did.
Nice.
I
How would
feel-
you ever pick Eugene, Oregon? That's like the weirdest small
So-
place. Or were you in Portland and that's how you two met? And you came down to
Actually-
Eugene together.
No, I didn't go to Portland for the first time until like a year, almost 2
Cool.
of moving here. So I originally had heard that a couple of my friends were moving to Eugene and they loved it here, and I always wanted to move to Oregon.
And you're like, there's good mushroom hunting there, right?
Yeah, I actually didn't know anything about mushroom hunting until about gosh, like a year ago.
So is this the mushroom hunting squad? Is it literally like you three go out? Or am I missing anyone?
We've never been out together to go mushroom hunting other than Riley and I. We're going on Sunday, so
Nice.
I'm excited.
Independent. You don't show people your spots and stuff like that.
Oh, I totally will.
You will?
Yeah, I like to share the spots.
Nice.
Not all of them.
When I
but-
brought up Portobello earlier, he said no, but you said yes. What do you know about Portobellos and like the white caps and criminies and stuff? Like, would you eat them?
So, small amounts, uncooked, it won't hurt you. If you have a sensitive stomach, it can upset it a bit. But any
I love hearing about
mushrooms,
healthy food. It won't hurt you in small doses.
but you don't want to eat like a pound or two of raw mushrooms. Really,
Yeah.
any mushrooms. Usually, it's best to cook them. Because I'm forgetting exactly what compounds in
I
them.
know.
That yeah,
It's some like weird toxin that eventually gets
starts
like.
with a
But
C.
apparently, like
Yeah.
no one actually cooks it to like the heat that you should to get rid of it. And, like some people are like maniacs and just burn their mushrooms. But I'm like, I don't know, because I heard that Paul Stamets guy, who I overall don't like. If you ever actually look into his supplements, they're mostly starch filler and stuff like that. Not
Love
to
that.
diss anyone, but like one of the most famous. Is that something you guys have talked about? Or are you like Paul Stamets stands?
You know, we kind of love him.
I know.
Yeah,
See, I'm like, I would just
we
be.
don't kind of love. We
I haven't looked at
so
his.
You have posters of him in your house. You can like him.
yeah, we kind of worship him. No.
Yeah, maybe don't spend a ton of money on his supplements, and maybe do. I mean, if you know,
So fun
Placebo
fact,
strong.
Placebo
we
is a bitch.
kind of when he came and picked me up, I ran out to his car with 2 matcha lattes. They were really good, and a little tincture of his supplements.
that's hilarious.
So, yeah, but I haven't really looked much into that, so that kind of piques my interest.
Totally, it could all be FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But from people who have like actually like bought it and like put it through like just spectrometers or whatever to like find like what's actually in this, have been like, oh, this is like 80% filler compared to like a couple. And who knows? Maybe they work for those other brands for all we know. You know, like maybe
Yeah.
they're just anti-Big Stamets, the industrial complex. I don't even know how to make that work.
No, yeah.
But it's funny, like, so, I mean, I assume you've listened to his, like, episodes on Rogan, or where'd you hear about him, or, like, start becoming his fan? Like, didn't he have, like, the Magic Fungi show or something
He
like that?
did, yeah. So originally it was the oh goodness, what's the one documentary? It's like Fantastic
Fungi.
Fungi, yeah. On there, and then going into mushroom hunting, I around I think it was last April is when I started, and his name would just pop up all the time,
Yeah.
and so I just looked more and more into
Cool.
him.
This is
but-
literally something you picked up, like, a year ago, and I'm just like, your entire 20 minutes, you're Mushroom Girl now.
right?
Yeah, so-
I'm okay
so-
with that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
how would you describe yourself outside of mushroom hunting and being someone who moved away from a family who they had a good relationship from? 'Cause I've never, for everyone listening, I've literally never met you. You showed up, you were part of Riley's posse. which,
Yeah.
Again, most guests don't bring multiple people with them, so this is an interesting
I'm
thing.
glad I could come. This is such a neat setup. You
Rad.
guys
And
are
again,
lovely.
hentai all behind you.
Yes.
So be prepared.
That's
for
I
that.
expect that fully. I'm ready. I'm ready to see that.
Score.
So yeah, I originally grew up quite religious, and then I branched away from the church I was in.
Wow, that's really unordinary.
Yeah,
you never hear
yeah.
people in this generation be raised religious and then fight
Oh,
against it.
yeah, from like the day I was born into it, and taught me some really good values. But I'm happy that I grew up the way I did. But yeah, when I was 18, I branched away from the church, and it was really hard for my family to see me do that. But
Especially going to Satanism. That was a pretty big. Like,
oh yeah, big leap there.
Kinsey actually has a Baphomet poster, like
A
'cause it-
Baphomet
a
adjacent.
Baphomet adjacent. It's a goat with horns and a.
It's got the
boom
upside
symbol.
down.
So like, the more you read into it, you're like, that's not that bad. It gets a bad rap.
It sounds bad.
It
Like
sounds bad.
initially, you're like, "Whoa, kind
Satanism?
of
Hold
scary."
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you read into it, you're like, "Oh, it's kind of sick."
Yeah, you're like, what? Oh,
Nice.
believe and love in
Yeah.
yourself. It's kind of like a very libertarian aspect to reality, but
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like
I haven't
religious
read into
libertarianism.
that
It's like, don't be a
before.
dick.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, worth reading. I think it's like literally like 7 sentences instead
even
of
know
like
if
a
they have
whole
a-
fucking Bible.
I don't-
God.
I don't think
Right?
they even have a
were
book.
you Christian
Yeah.
or were you Mormon?
I was Mormon.
Everyone's Mormon. Everyone who
Everyone
comes on
was
the show
Mormon.
and was like, I was raised religious and I came away from it
I was
is Mormon.
Yeah, I was gonna go on a mission. I
Oh, wow.
was going to get married in the temple, and I moved to Rexburg, Idaho when I turned 18. Spent the summer there, met one of my best friends, and then a week before I was going to start school, I said, this is not for me. And so I moved back, and all of that time of growing up religious and not doing like regular things teenagers would do,
Yeah.
I just took that all out in
Nice.
2 years. So
Score.
yeah, and then I calmed down a little bit, but yeah, and then I moved here. But it's been really neat to see
So that
my.
makes you like 21 or 22?
I'm 23.
Nice. I'm 24. I got you beat by a year. Suck it.
Gosh, dang it.
No, I mean, it's honestly funny because a lot of, like, I mean, Kenzie and I have been hanging out with people who are, like, in their 30s to 40s, and people have such an ageism about them, so I'm going to start taking it down to 1 year. If I'm 1 year older than someone, I'm going to be you'll get it when you're my age. And I'm literally 24 by 1 month.
Just wait a second.
You'll mature.
You'll
Trust
get
me
it in
here.
a couple months.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Really, you're talking to, like, a lot of people who are, like, in their 40s, and you're like, I don't know about that. you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting, especially like with the internet. I'm like, I don't know. I'm honestly, anytime I meet someone who's younger than me, I'm like, you're probably smarter than me because you had the internet for longer than me of your development. Like in terms of,
Seriously.
seriously. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, shade.
up to a certain amount. As soon as you started growing up and TikTok was like 80% of your internet use, brain dead. And again, I work making TikToks. Go watch TikToks. I am not espousing that TikTok's bad, but if you are under the age of like 15, don't watch TikTok.
Yeah.
It's just
You
like-
get dragged into it.
dragged
I'll
into-
get home from work and then I'll check my phone and then all of a sudden I just like disassociate and I'm
Yeah.
like 5 minutes later I'm like, whoa, am I on TikTok?
5?
5 minutes
4
later.
hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you
Oh
gotten
no,
into
that's
the
when I
hole?
realized that
Okay.
I'm actually on TikTok and I'm like, wow, how did I come here? And I'm like, oh, okay.
I
Just keep going.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were like, oh, yeah, 5 minutes, and I close it. I'm like, woof.
What side of TikTok are you on?
Yeah, we're so.
Are you,
You know,
comedy?
Pull up your TikTok. Let's just put it in the camera. Like,
oh, I don't know about that.
Just people dancing.
Well,
I
Riley
mean,
and I pulled mine up the other day and we're like, let's see what's going on.
Yeah, it's an intimate question.
It,
kind of is.
Yeah.
Very,
it was
very telling.
otherworldly. It was a
Well,
little
now-
chaotic. Yeah, like just weird, funny stuff.
Nice.
But
That's what I describe mine as too. But for
Yeah.
reference, if I see her TikTok, I'm like, this is the worst. I mean, never use this app. And if she uses mine, she's like,
He hates it.
yeah, we hate each
Yeah.
other's.
We're on
So
very
it's
different
so weird. It's like
sides.
literally a different app for everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, do all three of you use TikTok? Rarely.
Good for you.
That's a solid head nod, and you use it as well.
yeah, I send him all my TikTok.
Yeah, that's what they're made for. I know. If only they like opened more, like flew, like if they sent, I don't know, they just send us like a weird app, and sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't quite open to the one you sent, and you're like, do I trust sending? Like, especially for like friends who don't have the app, and like then you have like those right wing friends who are like, it's like Chinese malware, and I'm like, okay, so I never get to send you funny memes. I'm like, who the fuck cares? I'm like,
Just
oh.
trying to be happy,
Yeah,
okay?
I'm gonna fight against.
Let me live.
If they're this far, they're gonna win. Me not having an app on my phone is not gonna make the difference. What are they gonna hear? Oh, I really like watching 30 Rock compulsively all night, and it used to be Community, and then before that it was The Office and Parks and Rec. I'm like, really, realistically, like, what are they gonna eavesdrop on? Unless I was like legitimately someone who was like Elon Musk who has secrets, like he shouldn't maybe have TikTok on his phone.
No.
Yeah,
No, probably not.
So Mormon, and now you exclusively hate Mormon. You have like I hate Mormonism sticker on your bumper, but somehow you have a good relationship with your parents, right?
So I would not ever be Mormon again. And fun fact, my family, for the most part, so my brother, he's for sure still Mormon. He has a wife and 2 kids and like 1 on the way. Super exciting. Love
No
him.
birth control.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Hashtag
but
6 in a year.
I don't know how they're doing that. And then
Financially,
right, and then low
low key.
my parents aren't. They are Mormon, but they're discovering themselves, it seems like, and they're very open-minded, and they actually just came and visited a couple weeks ago, and it was amazing. And it was the first time they had come down to visit since I moved here, and they dropped me off, which was stressful
So it's
because
been like 2 years, 3 years since you'd
it
seen
was.
them.
Oh no, I would.
You went back.
Yeah, I would go to Idaho because it's like I can see everybody there. They can just see me here.
Yeah.
But
Good call.
yeah, it was really good. But
Nice.
when they first dropped me off in Eugene, it was a little chaotic. I moved into a tiny studio apartment on Mill Alley. No, Ferry Alley.
Don't know what that is.
It's like in the middle of town.
Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
like
don't
right
leave
down.
your house at night kind of place.
Yeah, it's right across the street from the Whitebird Clinic, and right just a little square. It's like a skip, jump, and a hop
Yeah.
from Chiba Hut, which I ended up working there. Yeah.
I love Chiba Hut. She thinks Jimmy John's is better than Chiba Hut.
By far.
Hey,
By
we've all
far.
got our. I mean,
No, don't
I
pay
get
her
it.
any respect for
get
that
it.
bad opinion.
you
Chiba
know,
Hut's good.
The
Once-
self-control
It
that
is
you have. I can see the rage in your eyes, but you're being very kind. Thank you.
I'm trying to keep my cool. Honestly, I need to meditate a little bit on this. We just won't make eye contact.
I
for
need
the
to go
rest
make a white widow really quick. Once they stopped having sprouts, it like went down a notch or two,
Oh, yeah.
but was still 100 notches above Chiba or all those other places. Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
It's better in Subway.
Everything's better than Subway.
So
Yeah.
they
Like a piece
still.
of bread with panties on it's better than Subway.
I do like Subway. It's
Subway-
embarrassing to
The
say.
Veggie
but I
Delight's
do.
good.
Yes.
It's a moment.
Did
It's a moment.
It's a
Yeah.
moment.
For real.
Did you get pretty sick of sandwiches in general? Like
Yeah.
so I worked at Mod Pizza. I don't know if you've ever been
Oh
there.
my gosh,
I don't really
I
eat
love
pizza
it.
anymore. Occasionally. I worked at Chipotle. Don't really eat burritos anymore. So I'm scared to work at a sushi joint. I'm scared to work at a spaghetti place. Do you no longer really eat sandwiches, or do you just somehow just like plow through them?
I do. I just, I have a slight obsession. I eat them morning, lunch, dinner, Yeah, all the
Easy
time.
to shop for. You just look at the pantry, it's like loaves of bread. Like Dave Killer, white,
I switch up
rye,
the bread. Yeah,
Oh,
switch
yeah.
it up,
But just between different kinds of Dave's Killer, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Why would you ever try a different kind of bread?
No, I don't need anything else.
Yeah. Why?
Yep, exactly.
Sourdough?
Sourdough.
She's a fan of sourdough. I will
I-
never touch sourdough.
Love sourdough. But I did get so sick and tired of Chiba Hut. Everybody did. We would bring no, like everybody's just going crazy. Like, well, should I have a salad today? I don't know. And pretty
Yeah.
much what it is just like the sandwich without, the
Without
bread.
bread.
You're just
Everything's
switching
Chiba
up
Hut.
how you build it.
Would you start giving it to friends at a certain point? Like you just like get
Oh,
off
yeah.
work and you like trade it and be like, just cook me some food.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't even want to watch you eat
Yeah.
this. Eat this sandwich. Give
yeah.
me something else.
I feel like when I would gift Chiba Hut to people, it was almost like they're like, oh, well, I know you got this for free. I'm like, well, stop it.
You know what coworkers
This
that
is love.
okay, at Chipotle, like coworkers would literally like order their like they would wait to order the burrito. They would take a Grubhub order, and they would buy the Grubhub order with their free burrito, and then they would go deliver it and literally just get money for their free burrito of the day. That's how sick of people got of it there. But like they
Yeah.
set a rule
It's
where
kind
it's
of a
like,
good hustle,
it's
though.
a good hustle, but then
Yeah.
they're like, if we see you leave with your free burrito, you're fired. People still just left I know.
Which
They
is
were
crazy.
literally scumbags. Mod
That's
Pizza's a
so
million times
dumb.
better.
Yeah.
Again, I worked at both of those food joints for 1 month because I was like bored and could use some extra cash. And then I worked at them like the food industry is dark.
It's so dark.
It does
Oh, yeah.
not treat people like in a sustainable way. Like literally, I think probably the average amount of time people spend there is like 1 to 3 months. How long were you at Chiba Hut? 5 years.
It was too
Just this
long.
gaunt look in your
I started in November of 2018 and left in October of last year. So I was there for a hot minute.
Yeah. What do you do now? You make teller?
No, no. I work at Gervais. It's that salon in Day Spa at the 5th Street Market.
I have no idea what they would do.
What do
there.
you do there?
Yeah.
I do reception.
It's cool. But like
Yeah.
if I went there and wanted to
Oh.
get spa stuff done to me, Do you get to do everything there?
We do.
What's the best thing? You don't go
You can-
tanning, do you? Because that's like
Tanning?
increases your risk of skin cancer and all that stuff.
Yeah, we
Melanoma.
don't
So
do
worth
that
it.
there.
Nice, good.
I mean, it would be nice for in the winter time when the sun shines just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I just kind of curl up into a.
Pop a
A
vitamin
ball.
D pill and you're just like,
Yeah.
this is healthy.
I'm
I
over there
guess.
like snorting lines of like vitamin D. It's something.
I'm technically not deficient.
I'm good now.
Yeah, I'm good. We're all just pale as heck. It's just rain and literally gray skies for like 36 days in a row, and you're like,
Love it.
I'm
video
fine.
games.
Yeah, yeah. And then the first day of sunshine comes in the springtime, and you're like, did I just pop a Molly? What's going
Oh,
on? Yeah.
We had literally a manic spring. I was like, so I like wear an Aura ring most nights where it like tracks my sleep really well, and it's like 10 hours, 6 hours, 5.5 hours during like May, June, July, back to 6, and now I'm back up at like 10.5 hours of sleep on average. I'm like literally recouping. This is like my Monday and Tuesday after my
God.
MDMA of a summer
Yeah.
of just like manically, like, I mean, because there was no masks, it was getting rid of everything. Like it not
felt
only
so
like,
free.
yeah, it was not only like spring, but it was like out of pandemic, and it was like everyone was just like new friends, and couldn't, like, it was like it was my heaven.
Yeah.
And now we're slowly kind of paying the price.
Now we're just, yeah, it's a lot.
So do you just like, would you just get like massages there, or like, you know?
You can do facials, massages, you can do nails, all of that good stuff. Just
Yeah.
like a full pampering day.
Nice.
It's pretty neat.
It's
Mani
on
pedi.
Fifth
Yeah,
Street.
mani pedi.
Is it expensive?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
fancy?
it's and we just raised our prices, which I'm
Classic.
thankful for because it gave me a raise.
Score.
That's why they
Nice.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was time.
The real wage
Yeah.
would just be starting paying you in Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Ooh, that's an
Mm-hmm.
unlikely place where people agree with that scenario. Like, deposit, just cash at me some Bitcoin. I will take it. What if like you didn't even have a dollarly rate for it was literally like a Satoshis per hour rate, and it's like they just gave you like some like months it's like $10 an hour, other months it's like $30 an hour.
Yeah.
Be like, I would take that. You know?
Right?
They can't take it back.
Could you imagine someone who doesn't know anything about Bitcoin and they start working at a job and yeah, you're getting a raise, but it's going to be in Bitcoin?
But it's gonna be an extra couple like 3 to 5
Okay.
Satoshi per minute. What? What's that equal? Changes by the second. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Doesn't even close on
Don't sweat
weekends.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny.
it's literally all the time changing.
It'll be like 3 a.m. and Kenzie's like, "What are you doing on your phone?" I'm like, "I'm checking if Solana or how like that's doing." And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I don't even own any. I'm just seeing how it
How
dealt
it's-
with the recoup of being down for 9 hours. This sounds pretty centralized." She's like, "Okay."
Okay.
I'm like, "Oh,
Have fun."
Yeah, I'm like, all my money's staked in Ethereum too. Do any of you 3 own crypto? Yeah. That's one yes. 2
I do
yeses.
not.
Ooh,
I
okay. Well,
Same.
the next guest, which you're honestly up in about 2 minutes. Do you have like
Sounds good.
Twitter you want to like spam or like
Twitter.
do you use Twitter?
Oh, I have an Instagram.
No Instagram.
Is it dope?
No Instagram?
No.
Okay.
What's the Instagram?
It's
The at handle.
what's my ad? It's
Bell of the ball.
Bell of the ball. It's
All right, that's all the time. Next.
That's-
up. I'm kidding.
bye. It's Belle Rose Image.
Dope.
And yeah.
So you're a photographer. No, you're watercolor. We spoke
I do
before camera.
Digital
Briefly.
art. I do. I'm going into
Are you an iPad
photography.
Pro? Or are you like an iPad?
I
Procreate
do.
girl?
I do.
Dope.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
It's
I'm gonna
really
look at it.
fun.
We each have 12.9 iPad Pros, and neither of
That
us.
we use for
Yeah.
Genshin.
Yeah, honestly, God, I need to sell mine because I'm like, I got it. I'm like, I'm gonna Procreate. I'm gonna learn
Yeah.
drawing because I just don't have that good of mental imagery. And then I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah, I
It
ran into the
takes-
same thing.
It takes getting used to.
really does.
Yeah. I love it. It's one of my little peaceful hobbies.
I am curious to see that Bella Rose Image.
So yeah,
Add
Belle
Instagram.
Rose
Instagram.
Image on Instagram.
Dope.
Fun
I
stuff.
said Bella too many times.
Bella.
And I literally
No,
started
you're
ingraining.
okay. You
I'm
can-
sorry.
I
Belle
go
Rose
by
Image.
both.
Nice.
My full name's Isabel, but we don't do that.
We don't do that.
We don't
here.
do that here.
All right. Thank you,
No.
Mormon mushroom
Thank
hunting
you
girl
so
who works at a
much.
spa and knows about crypto but doesn't own any and
I
makes
know.
Procreate art. I appreciate
it's
your
kind
time.
of lame.
It was truly a joy to meet you. Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you so
and
much.
next up we have Thomas.
Thomas.
Dope. I was like, it's either Thomas or Tommy.
Love
It's
it.
like a decent chance. No, it's like literally a full rotation.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. You're drinking a dark IPA.
As dark as my soul.
Does it not leave your like mouth bitter as hell? Are you like
Oh, my
that?
mouth feels horrible.
Yeah. Why would you
Oh, yeah.
drink? Why not a cider? Honestly,
Well, I actually came and got a beet cider. And let me tell you, it tastes like beets.
I bet.
In a
yeah.
good
If you
way?
ever sucked on dirt and kind of filtered
Haven't
through
done
some
that,
water,
but
that's
we
what
have
that
sucked
cider-
on Kratom quite a bit, and that's kind of dirt flavored if you really get into the nitty gritty of it.
Okay,
Tastes like
nitty
dirt.
and gritty.
Nitty and
emphasis.
gritty. Yeah, it's funny. All those like cider things, it's like it's like grapefruit or like none of them taste good. It's literally, and they get me every time. I'm like, oh, that's a new flavor, and I'm like, I just like classic, you
Mhm.
know.
Anything citrus.
Yeah,
Anything citrus is
absolutely.
great.
So you're an alcoholic. I'm kidding.
I am actually, yeah. I was not, and now I am.
Nice. It's a good place to be. I am becoming ever so more one as I'm realizing that the majority of guests love drinking on the show. And I'm like, the first 113 episodes didn't even drink a lick for any episodes. And now I'm realizing, I'm like, this job gets a lot easier if the guest gets drunk and I have like a shot or two. But so like, who are you most of the time? Because again, we've never met. Much like Belle, we've also never met.
Of course.
Like if I were to meet you like speed dating on a podcast, who are you? And then again, there's hentai behind you. Remember that. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Can I get one very large penis right here?
Oh yeah, there's not that kind of hentai.
And then I want to get one
It
really
can be,
small
though.
penis right here.
You watch every kind of hentai, man.
And I want him to kind of be wrestling. You can do that.
It's
Figure
like
it out.
you're like that person who like judges like the weight of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I'm a Leo. So,
That's what you
It
open
shows.
with.
Any Leo would. I love it. Go on.
my birthday's April 20th. I'm a Taurus and a liar.
Maybe you got a Leo rising.
It's true.
Don't sell yourself short.
It's true. I first of all, I'd say I'm red most of the time, especially after a few drinks.
Red.
Like in the face.
Like
In the
alt-right.
face.
Same.
I have my mother's complexion, so
You are.
You're in good company,
Yeah.
my
You're
friend.
literally Kenzie's counterpoint. She like her whole thing is she
Yeah.
has red cheeks all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, you okay? Do you get asked that? Like, hey, are you okay if it gets a little hot?
yeah. And then I
Be a
just say
little red.
rosacea.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's
I don't have that.
That's a much better retort.
I have Asian flush and I'm an alcoholic, so I'm just drunk right now. No,
Nice.
but like how do you spend all your time then instead of just like, I mean, do you just like look at the stars?
You know, I don't look at the stars. Actually, I don't like looking up.
Cool.
I like to.
Hurts your neck.
No.
Don't even believe space is real.
No, yeah, space is horrifying. That's something looking up. You know, I like the Big Dipper.
Easy one to recognize.
Exactly, and everything
the
else.
Orion's belt. That's the pretty much capping out my what I've seen.
No, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
Trying to say Uranus, right? Uranus,
yeah.
Uranus, Mars. Pluto isn't a thing,
And
so that's fucked up. You know.
to get this right, you give the facials and mani pedis part time, and then you're a bank teller part time, right?
Actually, somewhere in the middle.
Cool.
Yeah, I work with the senior and disabled population.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Like
so,
a social worker.
kind of like that. Yeah, kind of a middleman between
You-
the
I'll put
services
them
that
down.
people. Yeah. You've been to the pound. Yeah. No, it's somewhere in between where I connect the people that need services with the services themselves. So
That's very
I'm a
cool.
middleman.
So like, all right, let's role play here for a minute.
please.
My hip hurts.
Fuck
Why
you.
my no, Sonny. Why my hip feel funny?
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. No, we do great work.
And you just be like,
Yeah.
again, call 911. They're like, I've fallen and I can't get up. And
Yeah.
you're like, you should have gotten red alert, bitch.
Life
Yeah.
alert.
Life alert, and then you just hang up.
No,
Bet you regret that.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you work in like an old folks home? Or
I
you-
don't.
oh.
No. It's a government contracted facility that I won't name by name,
Ooh, bureaucrat.
just so none of my superiors hear this. 'Cause I did
sure.
just say
Oh,
fuck you
absolutely.
twice.
All right, and I can just name your name just so everyone, just so you two feel much free. I can name your name as if you want, but you can go unnamed. I could just name it the 3-person show. But, I mean, your Instagram's gonna be. I don't know if you have much social media. All three of you can just like have a subtle like social media in it. Again, I've never done this before, but this is a lot of fun. Kenzie joked about it, but I might actually just start having 3 people come at once. We'll just bang, but most
Yeah.
times they won't know each other, so then it'll be like
Oh, that'd be a blast.
5 people all get to know each other.
That's gonna be my
Nice.
show.
That'll be your show.
Yeah.
We're trying to come. I'm saying kicking it with Kenzie,
Because
talks
it's
with
like
Kenzie.
we have a podcast studio
podcast
in the
studio.
house. I'm like, why shouldn't I just give it a go?
It literally doesn't even make sense to be like,
Nah.
only one of us.
I know.
I'm trying to get the guests to start up a show. I'm like, just use my fucking room to literally start up a show.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to promote anything, I'd like to promote my OnlyFans. I'm not a content creator, but you never know.
You never know.
I'd like to have a following before I start.
One nut shot may go viral, honestly. With the way, like, TikTok's going,
Yeah.
one video could make you.
Thank you.
And you're a star.
Yeah.
A Leo and a Leo rising, who knows? I'm, as you can tell, Cancer by the fact that I was born in July and the fact that you too, July 7th?
16.
Boo. I'm July 7th.
Nice.
Just hands down a better kind of Cancer. No, don't you like have this subtle underlying, and she's off mic right now, subtle underlying like fear that you may die of cancer? Wait. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No, I
Yeah,
understand.
that's-
That's
And you
why I
might die
won't go
from-
running with the bulls.
Yeah, oh.
I wouldn't dare.
Oh, that'd be
Bulls.
so ironic.
'Cause I'm a
I
Taurus.
would love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you were a Leo.
No, it's just joshing. You know, my name's
Oh.
Thomas, but I'm a regular josher.
I thought you were gonna die from a lion attack. Did you tell that? Could you know
What?
that he was a Taurus secretly?
No.
See, that's how you know that like astrology is not real.
I know
She
nothing.
agreed. You're
I
like,
just
you
love-
seem like a Leo.
I love fronting.
People just hype each other up. It's completely. I'm just gonna start making it up. I'm no longer a Cancer. I'm a Gemini.
Hell yeah. Make up your own.
I'm stealing her. She's now a Cancer. Deal with that.
I'm a Cancer.
Now you have to lie
moon.
with Belle's also underlying fear that you
So.
may just die of cancer one day. Why would they
Maybe.
give someone that as their astrology sign?
I don't understand how it relates to a crab.
Hey, you're like, but it's also 69. I don't know if anyone else has known that. It's like a 6 and a
Oh,
9, like
yeah, yeah.
sideways instead of like upright. So I'm like, score.
Nice.
It's the one upside of being Cancer. Like literally, I mean, what if your astrology sign was like, yeah, you're HIV?
That's, are you positive? Yeah.
No. It came out before like the Freddie Mercury thing, but like you're
The Freddie Mercury. That's how you describe HIV? Oh, that Freddie Mercury thing. You know.
But if you're like the first half of the month, you're actually HIV. Crazy the coincidence.
The other
that
half
they-
is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Maybe they actually named it after that. So maybe that's like Freddie Mercury's birth month, and then they just like went with it. I don't know. The only thing I really know, I mean, or maybe Matthew McConaughey, Dallas Buyers Club. That's the only other association. Because like it's a subtle fear of everyone's like, oh, if you have unprotected sex, or like if you cut and like touch someone else's cut, you'll get
We're
HIV.
doing that constantly,
But
by
then
the
in
way.
reality, I've never. I bet you two are. I've never met someone who has HIV that I know of. So I'm like, how prevalent is it? Can I just become blood? Could we become blood brothers right now? What's our
Get an iPhone.
actual 100% likelihood of becoming? I'm not kidding.
Oh, this is getting a lot more real
what's,
than I anticipated.
what's our actual 100% likelihood of like getting HIV or AIDS?
I think
if
Hep
the
C
average-
would probably be more
Yeah.
likely. It's-
Cat AIDS is fucked up. No.
Yeah.
Cat AIDS is massive.
It's funny every time.
Don't ever have sex with a cat.
Not sex, but she tries to touch stray cats, and every time I like try to scare away the cat because like toxoplasmosis is very real. You don't have to have sex with the cat. You can just like kind of touch it, and boom, toxo.
No, that's not how that works.
That's how it works.
That's not
folks.
how it works.
Be scared of all
Don't
stray
listen to
cats
them.
that you see.
No.
You have to play around with its
I actually
Yeah.
know someone that went blind in one eye
A little
because
toxo.
a cat kind of touched her eye once, and she had just rubbed it in, didn't wash it,
Gross.
took a shower like a day later while she was camping, went
Yeah.
blind like 6 months later.
What?
It happened.
From
Yeah.
what?
Bullet wound.
Do you know?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
No, I don't know. Well, to be honest with you, I went on a Tinder date with her once.
Oh, can you message her right now and ask?
I could.
Hope you're-
But
hey,
I
we went on a
won't.
date
Wait,
like
so
a year
she's
ago, and I
blind?
just referenced you as that half-blind chick from a cat.
Did she
Yeah.
tell? Did she lead with that? Was she like in her profile? Was she
No.
like, I'm blind in one eye from
I
a
have
cat
scratch
touch?
fever.
No, so I actually
That's
didn't.
also real.
I didn't really notice it at first, but it was
Did she have a fake eye, or was it like the light blue?
it was that.
It was the light
Yeah,
blue.
no,
Spooky.
and we were walking around. It was like peak COVID, so we were both had masks on in the park. And you meet up with somebody, but you're like, I don't really trust
She-
you fully
She
yet.
has her mask up over that eye.
No, she had an eye patch on actually.
Oh.
Was
No,
it cute?
she
Okay,
Oh,
didn't.
because
Bedazzled?
like I'd show off the blue eye.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no. So I didn't want to say anything though, because I didn't know if like that's what it was, or she just like was just had like I don't know. You don't just be like, hey, what the fuck? Like, what's
You-
up with that?
Instead of asking if she's blind, do you want to play catch? Like just
Yeah.
like just keep like offering like depth of field.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
in
hey,
ophthalmology
activity.
school actually. Can you hold up one hand and I'm gonna Yeah, can you read
It's
the
for my
sign?
homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's an assignment.
Yeah.
No, so I was like,
Can you see?
so she's actually the one that brought it up and was like, oh, so by the way, and I'm like, thank God.
Thank
You know?
God.
No, I was like, oh, that even noticed.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And she's like, oh yeah, the fucking cat thing, whatever. You know, so I don't know. She was super casual about it. But that taught me never touch a cat to your eye.
Have a chronic fear of cats. Noted. And it's already obviously ingrained in me by the fact that I scare away cats because of Toxo. Now they can also blind me.
That's true.
What are they good for?
Yeah.
Just having around. Making good Reddit videos, honestly.
Good for
They can
I mean,
piss
we're talking
crazy.
about TikToks and could become famous with one nut shot. You could become famous with one video of your cat. That's the world we're living in.
It's true.
But
It's-
yes.
I think it's been that world since probably 2009.
Probably.
Since the 100 Ways to Love Your Cat. You heard of that video?
No, not a
What?
lot.
It's amazing. Look it up. 36 minutes of pure cat love.
Okay, no wonder you know about cat HRV. So you two are the ones that watch TikTok. What does your TikTok look like? Is it just dancing women or is it comedy? Because those seem to be the two people.
So I'd say from about 8 a.m. to like 1 p.m., it's like bacon jam. That level of like
Cooking TikTok.
cooking TikTok, exactly.
Liar! It's dancing women. No, I'm kidding.
No, let me get there. I'd say about, between like 1 p.m. and like 5:30, could be anything. Could be
Yeah.
cats, could be more cooking, could
Does
be.
TikTok go like that based on the hour that you're watching it?
Well, no, let me tell you, because
Yeah.
when I get to like 6:30, I think
Switch accounts.
when I was single and was horny for like 45 minutes, I liked a video of a girl dancing that was kind of
And then you're
provocative.
stuck.
And now after 6:30, every day I go on, it's like that's most of what it is.
This
And
is
I'm like,
probably what you want.
scroll, and it's still like it's a lot of, and I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
enough TikTok for the day because now it's the dancing women area.
If you make a brand new TikTok account, it takes a long time to veer away from the dancing
Yeah.
TikTok. Like
Mm-hmm.
for the first week or two, up to a month, you will just get dancing women until you don't like a single one of them. You immediately skip past it. It'll keep showing it to you. Be like, what about
What about
brunettes?
now?
Yeah, what about redheads? And they're like, what about she's really dancing here? Like, yeah, I don't like these. I just want comedy. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
like I see TikTok is like, get it? It's like, and you don't have to scroll through YouTube and like find, because again, so as I'm promoting this show, I'm realizing I have to cut clips under 30 seconds if I want any new person to listen.
Yeah.
So I'm like realizing like TikTok's just all of those. It's just the under 30-second YouTube videos, best of. And I'm like, fuck yeah, it's gonna take over the world. Already
Yeah.
has.
Already is.
Yeah. And so do you also, I mean, we have way more time. We have like 7 more minutes on your episode. Do you have like a social media you want to promote as well, or just a Tinder?
No, I'm in a faithful relationship.
What?
Yeah, actually, Tinder worked for me. Success story.
Holla.
Got no issues
And who
with
is
that.
he?
His name is Tiger.
No.
No, actually, I have a question about
Fa-
that. I have no social media promote, so I'm going to skip past that.
Okay.
But Tiger,
Yeah.
now I'm going to ask you probably the question you get every time you're in a Starbucks line.
Yeah.
When you were in the hospital
Yeah.
and your mom named you Tyler and
Yeah.
the person messed up and wrote down Tiger.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That's probably not your origin
much
story.
more
But
real
what's,
I've
story.
what's up
never
with the
heard
name?
that.
I was
What-
born in my house, believe
Yeah.
it or not, and both my parents were on LSD. No, but pretty much. And they're just like my mom's like, if he comes out a girl, because they didn't like know my gender, she's like, I get to name him. And as soon as I came out a boy, my dad's like, Tiger, name him Tiger.
No way.
And it stuck, and then he kept like it went TYGER because he's like, oh, maybe he'll just be like some fucking loser who wants to go like Thai and be professional. And I'm like, Tiger all the way, literally.
Yeah.
I'll say Tyler at like Hawaiian time or Chiba or
Okay.
whatever. Like some places, I'll like lie because it's easier and being like, it's Tiger, like blink, blink, blink.
And then they're like, what?
Yeah.
And then it's
It's
a whole
obnoxious.
back and
Like,
forth.
when you introduce yourself,
Andrew.
you say like, I'm Thomas, like the train.
I do, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
You should. I mean, immediately.
I say Thomas, like the biblical figure from Arathians 16:6. No, I'm just kidding.
So you really are in a faith-based relationship. No, a faithful relationship. It's funny.
That's funny.
How long have you been in a relationship for, out of curiosity?
About 2 months, 2.5 months,
Nice.
something like that. Yeah.
Congrats, and I wish it goes well for you.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
curious
you.
if she's gonna listen, especially like your name won't even be in it potentially,
yeah.
because you
Stealth.
did like kind of fuck around about your job. It's funny, like some people like will be on here again. I've told the story a handful of times. A manager of a local restaurant came on this show, and he openly talked about heroin use on the job while being a
Wow.
manager of a restaurant in town. So some people have no barriers whatsoever, and some
Yeah.
people are like, yeah, I'll openly talk about like kinks or like drug use or like all these things. I'm like, your name's attached to this, you know that, right? And they're like, yeah, Who cares? They'll like literally be wearing like a Subo sushi beer, like whatever like their place is, and other people
Yeah.
they just like talk about like, yeah, someone gave me free asset 3M, and they like hide what like their company is. So it's like it's funny to just get a sense for who like I mean the majority of episodes I do are with pretty much complete strangers, but like I know them like a little bit, you know, like I've messaged them online and be like I get a sense for their being. Like honestly, the one person who I'll never invite on the show is someone who replies with ellipses. Like when someone's like, yeah, I'll come ... I'll see you in a little while. I'm like, I just don't write them back. Do you guys get those? Like, especially
Oh,
from
yeah.
older people.
Oh yeah, either a stepdad or someone who's going to be a stepdad.
Yeah. Why do they reply like that? Like, do they think it's ominous? Or
Yeah.
if you're older, do never use 3 periods in a row. Anyone younger than 30 will never write you
So-
back.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Unless
shouldn't.
it's only in ellipses, then that really is kind of mysterious.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're like, okay, see you
True.
later. What is that?
Yeah, like, are you it's kind of like a winky face. Like 3 dots is literally like putting a winky face there. And it tends to just be like older guys who just do it
Yeah.
thinking that they're like, yeah, it's like a comma or something. Like it's not. It's absolutely not.
You know, it's funny you bring up the job thing because when I was sitting here and you're like, oh yeah, come on. My first thought was, don't talk about my job. I really like my job.
Yeah.
It's really professional. Like, I respect the environment, and they're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Just a great organization. I won't say the name of it, but the first thing you say is, fuck old people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'm like, ah, damn it. God, my.
Yeah.
But no, I, as far as being professional goes, you know, I love them, you know, and I got nothing bad to say.
Just so you know, I mostly do this show to network, meet new people. Obviously, it worked. I got an awesome job at a kick-ass company, and I've
Yeah.
met hundreds of new friends. So I don't really promote it. So it's at the current, and I'll promote it later in life. So by the time that this show grows to a place where you'd be in jeopardy of your job, it'll be like 3 to 5 years down the line. So
Yeah.
I just won't name you in the episode if you're cool with that.
Cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
No, I'm not worried about it.
Dope. This was the funnest and most unique show. Thank you all 3 for coming on the show. I appreciate your time. And boom, follow her on Instagram. Riley, really quick, do you want anyone to follow you anywhere on social media?
No, you can try, but I probably won't allow it. Keep it private.
All right, we got one social media out of this. That's all you get, folks.
All right.
Thanks for the show. Gonging it up. And none of them wanted CBD joints. Can you believe those people? All right, catch you later. And we're out of here.
Nice.
Goodbye.